The first Republican presidential debate is in the books. After months of anticipation, 8 of the 9 top contenders for the Republican nomination took the stage in Milwaukee on Wednesday night and sort of had it out. I watched the whole thing, all 2 hours. Here are my thoughts on the best and the worst of the night that was. And because I'm an optimistic kind of guy, let's start with the winners. Winner number 1, Nikki Haley. The former South Carolina governor needed a breakout performance to kickstart what has been a sluggish campaign to date, and she delivered big time on the debate stage. Haley was poised and confident. She didn't seem eager to fight with her opponents, but when the fight came, she was up for it. For example, she crushed Vivek Ramaswamy on foreign policy, much to the delight of the crowd. To my eye, she was head and shoulders better than the rest of the field. One thing to watch though, on questions of abortion and on Donald Trump, Haley gave pitch-perfect answers for a general election. I'm not sure how her pragmatism will play in this Republican primary. Winner number 2, Vivek Ramaswamy. Man, what I would not give for just a fraction of Vivek's self-confidence. Ramaswamy, amazingly, was the center of this debate. He attacked and was attacked more than anyone else. Ramaswamy looked and sounded totally different than anyone else on stage, which in a Republican Party that hates politicians and elites is likely to accrue to his benefit. I think he came off, especially at the start of the debate, more like a used car salesman or a guy going door-to-door hawking encyclopedias than he did like a serious presidential candidate. But Ramaswamy's goal coming into the debate was simple: get more Republicans to know who he is. It's hard to imagine he didn't succeed on that front. My next winner is Donald Trump. Yes, Donald Trump. The former president probably would have liked to be mentioned more. Fox wound up only doing one 10-minute segment dedicated to him during the debate, but every indication from the crowd was that they were with him. Chris Christie's attempt to skewer Trump was met with resounding boos. Ditto Asa Hutchinson's critique of the former president. And Ramaswamy was cheered loudly for offering a full-throated defense of Trump on his 4, yes, count them 4, indictments. Plus, a majority of the people on stage said they would still support Trump for president even if he had been convicted of a crime. Overall, the debate felt sort of minor, lessened by the lack of star power with Trump on the stage, which is, of course, exactly how he wants it. Another winner, Mike Pence. Would it surprise you if I told you that the former vice president got the most speaking time out of any of the candidates on Wednesday night? He did! Pence was also far more forceful than I have ever seen him, repeatedly taking the fight to the other candidates, especially Ramaswamy, who he clearly hates. And good on Mike for trying to demand that all the other candidates on stage go on record as to whether he did the right thing on January 6th. Now, do I think anything Pence did on Wednesday night changes his low standing in the presidential race? I absolutely do not. But he showed a feistiness that I, at least, hadn't seen from him before. Oliver Anthony as a winner. A month ago, no one had ever heard of this guy. On Wednesday night, Fox played a long snippet of his song Rich Men North of Richmond and made it the center of the first question of the debate. And oh yeah, not for nothing, the song is #1 on the Billboard's Top 100 too. Not a bad little run for Oliver. Last winner, drones. Look, I love a good drone shot, and so apparently does Fox. They used their drones for all sorts of things on Wednesday night, including a fly-in from the studio to the debate stage to kick it off. Now, the shakiness of the drone camera made me a little sick to my stomach, I admit, but I still loved it. And now, because if there are winners, there are always losers, the losers. Ron DeSantis. Judging from the overall tenor of the post-debate commentary, I think I felt more negatively about DeSantis' performance than most. For me, it felt deeply formulaic and robotic. There were canned answers taken directly from his stump speech. There were forced stories about people he had met on the campaign trail. And there was that weird smile that DeSantis contorted his face into at the end of every answer. Even if you were more favorably inclined to the Florida governor than I was, it's hard to see a major moment for him coming out of the debate. He often felt sort of shunted to the side, caught literally in between the feuding of Pence and Ramaswamy. Expectations going into the debate were that DeSantis, as the poll leader, of course aside from Trump, would be the focus of attacks from his opponents. Instead, they kind of just ignored him, which in politics is way worse. For a guy struggling to reclaim his footing in the race, I don't think that debate was what DeSantis needed it to be. Second loser, Tim Scott. Look, maybe it's because I had high expectations for Scott coming into the debate that I was so disappointed by his performance. He seemed very nervous at the start and never really seemed to get into the flow of things. I often honestly forgot he was on stage. In a major back and forth over crime in the country between the candidates, Scott was a no-show, which is weird given how much work he has done on the issue in the Senate. He just seemed, throughout, to be out of his depth. a step or two slow in his answers and in looking for opportunities to inject himself into the conversation. Scott didn't need the debate as much as some. His poll numbers are way up, especially in Iowa, but he really did not help himself on Wednesday night. Another loser for me, live audiences. Look, I've railed against this many times before, but I am just not a fan of live audiences at these debates. Inevitably, the moderators tell the crowd at the start of the debate to mind their manners, and also inevitably, no one listens to that advice. I just think that the booing and the cheering, of which there was a lot on Wednesday, unfairly skews perceptions of who is doing well and who is doing poorly in the debate. It also has the effect of making the candidates play to the room rather than to the much broader audience watching on TV. Count me not a fan. Last loser, 9 p.m. start times. Look, I will admit that by the end of the 2-hour-long debate, I was flagging. I know they start these things late on the East Coast so that the West Coast viewers can get home from work and all that, but I just hate it. Hate it. So what? Look, this debate won't change much. Donald Trump is still the clear frontrunner. Yes, Nikki Haley helped herself, and Ron DeSantis and Tim Scott might have hurt themselves. But in the end, this is still Donald Trump's race to lose.